Okay, so here's lab 11. It's going to be scatter plots and correlation and regression. So first we're gonna make up some data for height and weight for a male. So I'm going to put in height here and weight there, and this is going to be our x. This is going to be our y, and we're going to want to center all of this data here. So I'm just going to highlight these two and center them. And then I'm going to look at the page that they give for the example, and do not copy the exact numbers that they have here. But you can kind of use them as a guide and maybe go, you know, a couple pounds up or a couple pounds down, maybe an inch or two up or down off of this. So maybe I'll go like 65 instead of 66, and maybe I'll go like 130. I don't know, but just pick something, you know, kind of up or down a little bit, and just sort of similar stuff. So don't do the same data I'm doing. But do, you know, something that's sort of close to what they have, you know, but not too far away, 73 maybe instead of 75, and maybe 187, 6, something like that. And just, you know, make up some data that's in the right ballpark, but, you know, just similar but not too close. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 more. 70. I'll go. Oops. 70. 65. 65. Okay, so just you get some data that's kind of, like I said, sort of similar to the data that's in the book, but not exactly the same. And then we're going to want to format this. So let's put borders around it. So I'm going to go over to this little border spot here. Click on that, and I want to have all borders, 4 borders here, or all inside borders, all borders. That looks good. So now there's borders around everything, but then we want a heavy box around everything. So I'm going to highlight it again and go with this, and then thick box border. That looks good. Yep. And then I want I think I want thicker than that though. Let's go a little thicker. So I'm gonna click on this, and let's go to more borders and do a really nice thick one. So we'll go with this thickness here all the way around. Okay. And so that's a little bit thicker. And then we want this one underlined, so I'll highlight those two, even though it doesn't look like they're underlined, because they are. And more borders, thick underline, and then this one underlined also. More borders. Oh, good thick bottom at work. It's not as thick as the other ones. So go to more, so it's like nice and thick, extra thick. There we go. Alright, so now we have our data looking like it should look. These two should be bolded, so I'm going to highlight those and hit bold, the B for bold. And then, let's see, what do we do next? Oh, and then we make a scatter diagram. So highlight just your data, these guys here, and then go to Insert. And we want a scatter, and let's pick it said pick the first one, so that looks like that one there, and that puts it there. And we're going to move it down a little bit, so we'll just grab it. So when you get the arrows all going around, that's when you can grab it and move it. And let's move it down there. That seems good. Okay. Now, so you can't get down there because it won't let your arrow. Oh, that should let your arrow down now. There we go. Okay, good. Now we need to put in, you know, axes and comments on these. They're not comments, but like titles. So first we're going to get rid of the series one. So I'm going to highlight that and wait until I get the little arrows going every direction, and then I can delete it. And then I'm going to go to Chart Tools, Design. Nope. Layout. Yep. Okay, Chart Title. above the chart, and that should be human males. Human males. Human males. This is the height for the human males, and then we want to go with chart axis titles. So we want a horizontal one, which is the, kind of along the horizon below the axis, and we want that to be height. That's our height. Oops, spell it correctly though. No. Undo, where'd it go? It all disappeared. No, that's bad. Redo. Undo. Uh-oh. Okay. Yep. So I guess we just do it again. Oh, that's not very pretty data. Oh well. Okay. And I also want this to be, I'm going to right click that because I want my font to be bigger. I wonder if that will change the whole thing. Let's see. 14. Nope. Yep. Okay, good. And then axis titles, vertical, rotated, and that should be weight. Oops. Okay, good. So we made those 14. And then we want tick marks, which we do have here. We want to change it so the data is a little bit closer. So like this starts at 0. We don't want it to start at 0. We want it to start closer to where we are. So my smallest value is 59. So let's start at 55. If you look at my X data over here, the smallest value I have is 59. So 55 seems like a reasonable value to start at. So let's go ahead and right click on this little X, get the X box here, right click on that and go to format axis, and we'll start with minimum fixed over here. And we're going to make that fixed. I want it to be start at 55 for my data. Yours may be different, but while you're there, make sure that the tick marks are showing. So that would be I'm not sure what that would be. It seems like it's okay. Oh, major tick mark type outside. So you want this to be outside like it is, so that's perfect. So make sure this says outside, not none, and not inside, and not cross. You want it to say outside. And you're good. Okay, so now we have the tick marks where we want them. Let's go to the data. Oh, look, data's look much better now. That's great. Now we want this to start. Maybe for my data, it looks like maybe starting at 100 would be good because I have all my data above 100. So I'm going to right click on one of these vertical axes and go to format axis. Just right click on any of these numbers is how you get that. And again, make sure that this major tick mark type says outside, and then go to fixed for the minimum and make that, what did I say, 100 looks good? Yeah, 100 looks good for my data. Your data will be different, but that's what mine is. So now it looks much better. Okay, good. And is that everything there? Yep. Alright, so now take a look at the formula page for the example. So turn over to next page in your lab book and use the appropriate formula to calculate the correlation. The correlation should be at least 0.80. If not, then you need to change your X and Y values to make that work. And pretty much what that means is if you kind of start with the data they give you in the book and that they have, and don't use their data, but kind of work off of that. Go like a inch or two off of that, and maybe 5 or 10 pounds off of that, so you're sort of in the right ballpark. Then that is probably going to work for you. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to type in correlation. And for that one, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And that formula looks like it's equals C-O-R-R, Correl. Perfect. I'll double click on that. And it says array 1 and array 2. So these guys are our arrays. So this would be our first array, this x's, and our second array would be our y's, because it wants to compare the x's and y's. So I'm going to highlight these x's and then hit comma. So if you look over here, you'll see B6 through B15 has come in. That's these values right there. I'm going to hit comma, and then I'll highlight these y values, grab them, and then I'll hit in parentheses and hit enter, and that's my correlation. Ooh, pretty good, 0.9. That's not bad. That'll work. Slope equals. Did I hit equals on that one? I'm going to put equals. So if you didn't put equals, just go back up to it, go up to the top up here in this window up here, and then you can kind of edit it with equals. Maybe I should put a little space in there. Space equals. Alright, and then slope. I want these guys, I want them to be right aligned, so I'm going to hit that. And then make them a little bit bigger so the correlation fits. Okay, good. And this one is going to be equals slope, and then your known y's, comma, your known x's. So y's first, look at this, y's first, and then the x's. So here are my y's first, comma, my x's. So pay attention to what they tell you. And yep, that looks great. Enter. And so I have a slope of 6.0579. And then what's the last thing? Intercept equals. And this one's equal. Intercept. There we go, double click on that. And it says known y's, then known x's. So here's my known y's. I'm going to grab them, comma, known x's. I'm going to grab them, and you'll see them show up right here. Right, that should come in well, and then hit enter there. So my intercept is negative 252.56. That's fine. That just means, what that means is that if this line were to go all the way down, where it would cross over here would be at negative 200 something. No worries there. My slope is positive, which is what we expect. And then they want us to pick for an arbitrary value x. So they want us to interpret it for x is x equals 75. And that's going to be the same for everybody, because that's the number that they have picked. And they want, yep. And then this is going to be the y equals. So when x is 75, what does y equal? That's so when x is 75, what's y? And y will be equal. Remember, y is equal to a plus bx. So my a is my intercept. So that's this plus bx. So that's my slope times my x. Enter. And that will be a pretty big number. So yeah, so when x is 75, y is going to be 201.78. And that's not bad. So when someone is, what this means is when someone is, a male is 75 inches, we expect their height, their weight to be about 201 pounds, 202 pounds about. Okay, so that's it. Wow, that's easy. So go ahead and print this off, and that would be assignment 11.1. And then we just want the formulas for, okay, so right, so don't, just as a reminder, I'm going to write this in. Don't forget that y prime equals a plus bx, and where a is the intercept and b is the slope. So This you don't have to have on your paper. I just want to write this down so you guys realize where these come from. This is our formula that we had for our regression line of regression. So that's straight out of what we did in class. So A is our intercept. That's this guy here, plus B, which is our slope, times X, and that's what we have right here. If we look at this formula up here, that's what that is. Okay, cool. So go ahead and print that, and then we'll change this to 11.2. And then for that one, it's just printing the formulas. So you go to formulas, show formulas, and obviously it totally screws up all the widths, so you have to fix all your widths. Fix them all. And make this one bigger. And then you can print that off. So that would be 11.2. And then the last one, 11.3, would be, save it and print it, okay. And then 11.3 is finding this line of regression. So, to do that, I'll go down there a little bit. That is oddly weird. That's very wide. So I'm going to unclick this show formulas and hopefully it goes back to normal. There we go, much better. But now my things are all screwed up again, so I gotta fix those again. Make them all, I'm just gonna make them all the same. Hide all of them and make them all like that. There we go. Okay, and then this one needs to be a little bit bigger. Okay, great. Now we got something that's pretty normal looking. And we want to find that, graph that line of regression. Alright, so click the right button of your mouse on one of the points on the scatter diagram. So I'm going to go down to one of my points, and I'm going to, looks, it says series 1.76, which is 76, 220, right here. That's, whoops, right there. Okay, so I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to say add trend line. Add trend line. Boom, right there. And wow, it pops right in there. The line style we want is going to be linear, so that's good. Line style, let's click on that. I want something a little thicker. It starts at 0.75. I think I want something a little bit wider than that. Not much, but we'll go up a little bit. That looks better. And then the compound type, that seems fine. Dash, we don't want dash, we want solid, so that's good. And then the begin and end, so we want arrows on the end. So we want to start with an arrow, we want to end with an arrow, and that looks good. Close. So then we have our nice little arrows. And it's really just that easy. Yep, that's it. So just print that out, turn it in, and you are done. Let's take a look and see what it looks like when we print it. File, print, and oh, okay, see, so how it only shows this graph, that's because I must have it highlighted. So I have to go back to my home, click on something else, not the graph, go back to file, print, and that should show everything, and it does. So there you have it. And that's it.